So there's a question on the practice test that says state the range, and they give you a vertex form equation. And it's ridiculously easy when it's in vertex form to state the range or even the axis of symmetry. Because when it's in vertex form, you could clearly see your HK value, which means that your vertex is the coordinate opposite of what you see here, positive 2, and the K value, take it for what it is, negative 5. So the vertex is negative 2, or positive 2, negative 5. Now they're not asking you to state the vertex, they're asking you to state the range. So you got to visualize it. You could even do a quick little sketch. If you go to positive 2 on the x-axis and negative 5 on the y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll see that your vertex is down here somewhere. And then you look at your A value, which means that it's opening down with the pattern of 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9. So 1, 1, 2, 4, it's just a sketch, right? You map it over to the other side, and you have this parabola. It's a sketch, doesn't have to be perfect, but you get the idea of where this parabola exists. When you're talking about range, you're talking about the y values. So you actually need to type in y is, where's this parabola at in terms of the y-axis? Is it at positive 1? No. Is it at positive 2, positive 3, positive 4? No. Where does it start existing on the altitude, on the y values? It starts existing down here at this y value of what? Negative 5. And does it exist above negative 5 or below negative 5? So it exists at or below negative 5. At and below negative 5. So my answer will be y is less than or equal to negative 5. So if you check that answer, that's what you need to type in. Y is less than or equal to negative 5. Again, when you have something on vertex form, it's really easy. Think opposite on H, take K for what it is. There's your vertex. And that's either the highest or lowest point of your parabola. So if you sketch it, you'll see that it's the highest point because it's opening down because of the negative sign, which means that your range is y is less than or equal to negative 5. Let's move on to the next one. On this question, they want us to find the y-intercept. And of course, you don't even see the graph, but it's ridiculously easy to find the y-intercept on a standard form because that's just 0, c. But right here, it's not, it's easy, but not that easy on vertex form. Okay, so what we have to remember is that on a standard form, like if you had y equals negative 2x squared minus 3x plus 7, that's easy. The y-intercept is 0, 7. But this is not standard form. This is vertex form. So you got to think HK for vertex. But see, that's not even going to help you if you think the vertex. The bottom line is you have to do the math. And the math is to find the y-intercept, you must set x equal to 0 and solve. Okay, so you can't just look at your c value and say that that's your answer, right? That's not going to happen. That only happens on standard form, not on vertex form. So we're actually going to take the x value of 0, put it in right there, and then do the math. So we will have negative 2 parenthesis x plus 3, 0 plus 3, close parenthesis to the second power minus 1. And you do parentheses first. 0 plus 3 is 3. And you still have the square, the minus 1, and the times negative 2 in the front. So obviously we're going to do exponents before multiplying. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. We still need to multiply it by negative 2, and we still need to subtract 1 from it at the end. So when I do multiply negative 2 times 9, that'll give me negative 18, and I still need to subtract the 1 from it at the end right here. So negative 18 minus 1 is negative 19. So the y-intercept is the x value 0 and the y value negative 19. So you're going to type that in. It says type in answer as a coordinate with no spaces between your terms. So as a coordinate, your x value 0, comma, your y value is negative 19. Does that make sense? I hope so. Again, I don't want you to think that the answer is 0, negative 1. We're used to that when we have standard form equations, but if it's in vertex form, you actually have to plug in 0 for x to solve for y. Plugging in 0, we got out negative 19. And as you could see, that is our answer right here, 0, negative 19. Let's move on. There's going to be questions on the practice test like this right here, where I just write down which one's a vertex. And all you got to do is select this dot. Obviously, that's the vertex of this parabola it's opening down. So this right here is for sure the vertex. So on the question that says find the vertex or select the vertex, you're going to put your dot right there. If I asked you for the axis of symmetry, which one would you pick? The bottom one, right? Axis of symmetry. Not that the axis of symmetry is at the bottom, but the axis of symmetry is that green dotted line that goes right through the vertex. What if I asked you for the y-intercept? Which one's the y-intercept? This guy right here would be the y-intercept, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. Technically, if I would have asked you for the x-intercepts, then you would pick both of these, because both of these cross the x-axis right here at these locations. So this is just like a vocab question. There's going to be 2 of these where you just easily pick and label which one's which. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to actually make it to the test, but this is just something on the practice test. Okay, so on this one, it's a drop-down menu, and so you got to read it and make sense of the graph itself. So the vertex is the coordinate what? Well, you got to go over here to this vertex value and recognize that that's a coordinate -2, +3. That's a location -2, +3. So you would put this one in right there. So -2, +3 is the vertex. Then it goes on to say the y-intercept is the y-intercept coordinate is blank. Well, where does it cross the y-axis? If you zoom in, you'll see that it crosses right there at the location -5 on the y, but you want to write it as a coordinate, so you would type in 0, -5, which is this guy right there. So far we've used this first one and that one. What else? It says the a value of this function must be blank. Well, we have a couple of options that say a value equals -2, a value equals -3. So obviously you're only going to pick one of those 2. So according to this graph, it doesn't go 1 over 1 down. That would be a of being -1, but it goes 1 over 1, 2 down. So that'd be a is -2. It does not go 1 over 3 down, right? So a is -2 is what we would type in for this option. And last but not least, the range is what? The range are your y values, okay? This parabola does not exist at 6. It does not exist at the y value of 5. It does not exist at the y value of 4 even. It starts existing at the altitude at the y value of 3 and below. So you would say y is less than or equal to 3. So that would be this guy right here. Okay. So less than or equal to 3. And if you look at those answers, those are the 4 that we used up there. All right, let's move on. This one's ridiculously easy. The axis, state the axis of symmetry, and you should recognize that this is in vertex form. Vertex form is really easy to state the vertex. HK, think opposite on H, take K for what it is. So what's a vertex? 8, 9. Okay, now they're not asking for the vertex, so don't type in the vertex. They're asking for the axis of symmetry equation, and you should know that the axis of symmetry equation is, you have to write x equals the x value of your vertex, 8. So you type in x equals 8. If you don't type in x equals, if you just put the number 8, that's just the number 8. But if you type in x equals 8, that's what produces a vertical line crossing the x-axis as 8. So it's very important that we type it in x equals 8. Sound good? All right.